this is your first time on the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in Redondo Beach, California and the surrounding South Bay area, then hit subscribe so you can stay current in what's happening in Redondo Beach. My name is David Coe. I have lived in Redondo Beach for over 30 years and been a realtor for the last 20. Myself and my team at the Co Real Estate Group, we love to help people navigate the move here to Redondo Beach. And whether that's 9 days or 900 days away for you, we would love to be connected with you. All of our contact info is in the description, and we'd be happy to help you make a smooth move to Redondo Beach or the South Bay area. Hey everyone, David Coe, the Co Real Estate Group. Hey, once again, we're here to bring out some really interesting conversations and topics that we can discuss with some of our great experts. Today, I've got a really good friend of mine, Brooks Dunn. He's an architect. And one of the questions that we're always asked about is, from someone who's looking to buy a house, if they want to renovate it, what are some of the things that they should be thinking about if they want to buy a new house? And, Brooks, you have one of the greatest lines, when you find that wrong house in the right school district to call you. And that's exactly what a lot of our clients are looking at all the time. So thanks for being on today. Why don't you do a quick introduction of who you are and how long you've been doing this?
Well, we started this office in 2010, which is kind of amazing to say. I really do appreciate the opportunity to come and talk about something that, I love talking about. So you may have to reel me in a little bit,
I know that
but,
about you, don't worry.
but, when clients come to me, a lot of times they'll say, well, how much would it cost to A, B, and C? And I feel like that's a little bit the wrong question. I mean, at that point we're going shopping and shopping is fun, but, credit card bill comes at the end of the month and sometimes you're wondering, how the numbers got to where they are. I really prefer that my clients look at this as kind of a two-part exercise. One 8.5 by 11 sheet, write down literally all of the things that you have to do to the house. And then, take that list and rank it into, we need to have that in the project for the project to make sense. We'd really like to have these other things and maybe a couple of moonshots. And as a totally separate exercise, uh, come up with the number that makes sense. Uh, you know, the funds you're willing to borrow, the funds that you have on hand, maybe factoring in how long you intend to stay in this particular house and whether or not you feel like, based on what you purchased for, you need to pay attention to what the market's doing. And
If
there's a number that makes sense,
Yeah,
right?
which will add more value to the home, right?
Yeah.
Like not every dollar you spend on a renovation is created equal as far as what the impact on the value is. So, and I love that you have that list because we like to do the same thing with a buyer. Like we're going in helping them find something. What do you need? Like you need a certain number of bedrooms, right? What
Yeah.
do you want? You might want a living room that's open concept, right? And the moonshot might be the pool, right? Like that might be the thing that, is just the type of thing would just make everything perfect. But, you could still somehow survive in the house without that. So it's cool that that's your process as well. That's kind of where you start off with that.
Well, absolutely. And, it's not my job to tell somebody how much to spend on the house. Really, that exercise, I'm trying to get at what is valuable to them. And I can certainly share a lot of information about cost, but I don't want to miss that discussion on either end. I don't want to show clients who are on a tighter budget things that they might fall in love with that aren't going to fit. And, similarly, I don't want to miss an opportunity for a client to do something really fantastic, maybe because we haven't, you know, had a full discussion of what it is they really want to put into this project. The other thing I think that's important, if we're thinking about this asset over time, there may be things that need to be done, or there may be things that if you're phasing a project, it doesn't make sense to do in the initial project because we know in phase two, we're just going to have to take those right back out.
Mhm.
And, I had a client had a beautiful 1932 streamlined modern house in Silver Lake, and they wanted to do a little bit of an interior renovation, kind of a big addition. And their sort of throwaway was, oh, we know we're going to need to upgrade the electrical panel at some point. And, that was a little bit of a record scratch. And when we actually looked at that, we needed a new electric service, but half the house still had knob and tube wiring, and that was just something that we had to take care of right away. We still got them, the downstairs renovation with the swing guest room, office, and actually drum practice studio that was all acoustic insulated. But most of that project was an infrastructure upgrade, and actually that was a good result for them because now we're not worried about an electrical fire.
Well, infrastructure is hard too, right? Electrical, plumbing, insulation. It's not sexy, right? Kitchens are sexy, bathrooms are sexy, but that stuff matters so much. And I like the way you talked about it. Look, you might find the wrong house in the right school district, but it doesn't mean you have to do everything right now if the plan is to raise your family in that school district for the next 15 to 20 years. So I think it's interesting to think about that as, look, take care of the foundational things, right? The blocking and the tackling kind of stuff. You can always go back and redo or do cosmetic stuff later on once you have more available funds.
Well, and if we're doing this in an orderly fashion, we can do that. Uh, you know, we can do that in a sequence that makes sense. So you're not spending money to undo something we did earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, don't go 2 steps forward, 1 step back over the course of living in the home.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, another thing that we kind of have this conversation all the time is someone may see small footprint home on large lot and think, "Okay, I am going to just add a second story and extend this house and, create square footage that way." But it's not so easy to put a second story on a house built in 1972, is it?
No, I mean, when we build that second story, we comply to 2026 building code all the way down to the ground and through the foundations. And so, the answer to what we're going to do with that project really depends on how, where we're trying to get to and what we're starting with. That 1972 client, if they come to me and say, "Hey, we want to, kitchen's tiny in this house. We want to open that up onto the family room. We want to open the new great room onto the backyard. And oh, by the way, we want 2 bedrooms upstairs and we're going to find a spot for a stair." I'm going to say, "Great. We're going to tear down half or a third of the house and we're going to build back exactly what you want because that'll be faster. We'll have more control over it. It will be no more expensive. It will probably be less. At the end of the project, you'll have exactly what you want." Um,
And why
it,
is that? Like, why is it so much more expensive to try to build on top of something that's already in existence?
it just really depends. The building code changes every 3 years.
Mm,
It really depends on what you started with and where you were working. Sometimes there are really good reasons to keep the room downstairs. Sometimes there are preservation reasons to,
mm.
keep the downstairs of the house. And that's a little bit of a different discussion. But really it's deciding, being clear about this is what we have, this is what we're trying to save, and this is what we want at the end of the project. And it's drawing the path that makes the most sense for that client at that house on that site.
So when someone finds the property and we're in escrow, I know I've had you come out and look at a property before they even made an offer, which was hugely valuable. We had you come out to a property before and we found out what they wanted to do wasn't even possible, right? And steered us towards another property. So I guess probably what I'm trying to say here is that if someone is thinking of that, probably one of the first people they want to have in their back pocket is an architect, right? Someone who can really help them. It's kind of part of the buying team, not just the due diligence team, but part of the buying team before you get too far down the line under a contract.
I love being able to do that. And, especially in the hills here in LA, you've got to get all the way into the CCNRs to look and see what it is you're going to be allowed to do with a particular property. Just because your neighbor has it doesn't necessarily mean you can do that on your lot. There are a lot of neighborhoods where, there are view protections
Mm,
and
mm.
everybody gets their view of the ocean. And that might mean some of the lots are limited to 1 story. It's a really good, the case you were talking about, we found out that there was unpermitted work. And that is an entire other subject that we really want to stay away from.
Which the home inspector didn't even uncover that one. You did
Yeah.
once we were looking at that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, hey, look, man, I really appreciate it. I know we just kind of scratched the surface here of what some of the stuff we do, but if someone does have a more detailed question, how can they best find you?
So we have a work with us box on our website, so dunnarchitecture.com. There's our general email, info@dunnarchitecture.com. Those are really the two best ways. We would love to talk to you about anything you're thinking about. So we're always happy to do that.
Awesome, Don. Well, hey, appreciate it, Brooks. We're going to put that information down below. And if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe down below, hit the like button. And if you are looking at maybe adding on to your home, or if you're looking at doing some major renovations, I highly recommend you give Brooks a call. So, Brooks, thank you so much for spending some time with me today.
Well, thank you for the opportunity, David, and have a great day.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, everyone.